I've got loads of little tiny people. Hello everyone and welcome to the 35th episode of the Blind Pinterest Challenge. The series where I recreate various crafts and DIY projects from Pinterest without any instructions, because it's YouTube, and obviously with YouTube you need to do weird and wonderful things, and this is weird and... Is it wonderful? Is it even weird? It's different though, isn't it? How did I even start doing this? Like, why did I start doing this? I don't know. I must have just woke up one day and was like, yeah, you know what? Let's go for it. So I think the first craft I want to try in today's episode are these wire flowers in a vase. And I've just looked there, and on Etsy they're selling these for £79.56. Who in their right mind is going to pay £79.56 for them? Absolutely no one. You've got more money than sense if you're spending that amount of money on this. I know for a fact, and I don't even need to challenge myself, I can do that way cheaper. But I think it's a fun little idea, and I think it'll be very, very simple to make, which amazes me that a person is charging that amount of money for them. Unless their wires made of like pure gold or something, I don't know. But I'll give it a go, and I reckon it'll probably cost me about a tenner at most. Next up, I want to try this dope doll head wall art, which is not me saying that, that's the title of this little craft thing. Because if there was an image that represented my kind of style, it's this. This is very me. I love it. It's weird, it's funky, it's colourful, it's crazy. It borderlines being kind of kitchen nasty.
You're nasty, Miss Jackson.
But it's also like super cool. I love it. I personally absolutely love it. So I'm definitely making this. I think I can make this. And I hope I make it just as well, because it's going on my wall. It's 100% going on my wall. I love it. Another thing I fancy trying, and I don't know why I seem to be really gravitating towards miniatures for some reason, even though I absolutely despise them. But I think this miniature looks really cool, and it's obviously like a little beachy scene with some people on a paintbrush, and I think it looks super fun. It's ridiculously cute. I don't think mine's gonna look as nice as theirs, but I'll definitely try, and I think I can do it. And I think the final craft that I'm gonna try today are these upcycled map paper moths, which I think look really cool, but I also think I'm really gonna struggle with them, because something like this, I feel like you need to know the kind of folding techniques and how to actually create the sculpture, and without the instructions I'm just kind of winging it, and I don't think it'll look as good, but I think I might create a passable version. And I've done origami before anyway, so I'm going to put my origami skills to the test and see if I can make some upcycled map paper moths. Wish me luck.
Good luck, bitch.
It's finally a new day in the studio, and I'm ready to get my craft on, and I thought we would start off with the very overpriced wire flowers. So I've got a little glass vase here. I know it looks completely different to the one in the original paint, but I couldn't find theirs anywhere. All glass vases, for some reason, in all of the shops were ginormous. This was the only one that was like a decent scale, so I went for like a little bubble one. And I've got some black aluminium wire, and I think I'm just going to bend them and twist them and try and make some little flowers with them. I definitely can't see this one being too hard, but we never know. Okay, so let's just measure these. How big do I want them? Probably is about that big. I can always cut it shorter if I need to. And then I think we'll start simple and do the little curly ones that they have in their picture. And rather than use pliers for this, I thought I would just use a paintbrush and try and wrap the end around here. Create like a nice little swirl. See what happens. Pull that off. Okay, that worked pretty well. That looks quite nice, doesn't it? It's cute. Just stick it in there. One down, lots more to go. I don't know how I'm going to create their very intricate flowers, mind, because they look really hard. Here's me saying it was like a piece of paste and not worth the money, but I don't actually know how to make them. Maybe if I cut a bit more wire off and then try and make some sort of flower shape. It kind of reminds me of, there's these videos online, and these people create these absolutely mind-blowing sculptures from copper wire. They make like dragons and flowers and all sorts of things, and they look amazing. But you must have to have like a very specific folding and curling technique, and they must have worked with wire quite a lot to figure out what it can do. And obviously I haven't, so I'm just kind of winging it. At the end of the day, it could just be like super abstract, couldn't it? Like that. That looks nice. And then maybe if we attach it to here, just need to trim it down a bit. Okay, that's not too bad. I don't hate that. Like just like a little bit of foliage. Not looking as sophisticated as theirs, but still, it's fine, and it'll just fill out everything. So as long as you don't concentrate on the individual flowers, it'll be alright. You know what? This is really fun. This is actually a really fun little craft idea. I don't feel like I'm doing what they're doing and kind of copying it. I'm just doing my own thing, but I'm really enjoying it. I can't really explain the technique I'm using. I'm just kind of pissing around with it and seeing what it can do and what it can't do. Mine are going to be way more abstract than theirs. Mine aren't going to look like flowers at all. I've just realised. You know what? I'm looking at their original pin and I have absolutely zero idea how they actually made their flowers and how they made them look so good. I don't understand how it's possible. I don't know whether they have like some sort of stencil or something. Mine just look like blobs of wire on top of more wire. Maybe that's why they're worth so much money, because of the technique and the skill they're using. I think this is the kind of craft project where it looks really easy, but in reality it's actually a little bit more difficult than you think. Maybe do like a little bit of curling on this one. Oh, that looks so sad. Looks like a dead flower. I'm just trying to think, how do I make a flower? How do you do it? I don't understand how you do it. Mine don't look like flowers yet. Oh, wait. Oh, I think I'm doing something. Oh, hang on. Are you shitting us? I think I'm doing something. I think I figured something out here. How did I do that? That was an accident. Oh, this is hilarious. I've made a flower by accident. I didn't even mean to. I don't know what happened. It was almost like my hands just had a mind of its own and just started to make a flower. It's almost like I asked the universe, please, give me a wire flower, and my hands were like, alright, here you go. That's weird, because usually when I ask the universe for something, it just hands me like a literal lump of turd. It's all tangled, mine, but that's alright, I can get that undone. So what did I do? I just kind of went around, almost just like you treat it kind of like, I was going to say skin there, you don't treat it like skin. You treat it like string, but like metal versions of string. Oh, look at me go. And then maybe if I just separate that all the way around. And this is all one continuous bit of wire as well. And then bring it right down and we cut. Oh, I'm so proud of myself. I was getting close to giving up, you know. Look, that looks like a flower, doesn't it? I know it's a very simple version, but still, it looks better than the ones I've made so far. That's gonna go right in the middle so it can distract from all the other ugly ones. Oh, I'm an expert at this now. Look at me go. That one took us no time at all. That was ridiculous. Oh, I think I'm kind of done. I'm kind of pleased with that. Oh, it's so cute. Okay, so we have expectation and reality. I'm having to use a little bit of paper just so you can actually see them, because they're very subtle and very hard to see. I think that's really nice, isn't it? I think if I spent more time on this, I would be able to get a way better outcome and a similar outcome to what they've got. Because if you look at the starter flowers, they were all kind of like a bit just scabby and just shitty. But then I started to get the hang of it and it started to come together and I made some really nice shapes. And I know theirs cost about like £1 million or something, but mine cost me about £3.50. Bargain. A complete and utter bargain. £3.50. I would much prefer to spend £3.50 on my less sophisticated, kind of shitty looking flowers than spend a crazy amount of money on their very elegant, ridiculously sophisticated flowers. I think my budget version definitely beats theirs, even knowing it is a little bit shitter. Okay, so moving on to the crazy doll head painting, which I was absolutely obsessed with. And I just bought this lovely rustic frame, which is gonna get ruined anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I also bought this absolutely terrifying doll, and then proceeded to decapitate the doll, which was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. Once I eventually dismantled the doll's head, I cut it in half because it needed to be quite flush to the frame, and then glued that down onto the flat surface of this frame. I then moved on to painting the frame a very toxic green colour, and after a second coat, it was looking a little bit like this. Gorgeous. Once the glue was set and the paint was dry, I whipped out some old paw paints that I had in the studio and just went crazy with them. I poured a shitload all over this doll's head, and then of course used little earbuds just to clear some paint away from the eyes. And then once I was happy with that, put it to one side to let it dry. So we have expectation and reality, and I absolutely love my version. I know it doesn't look exactly the same as the original. I've used very different colours, completely different colour scheme, but I think it's given a very similar effect, and I just think it is so freaky and so amazing. I absolutely love it. I love it so much. Oh, just like, how fun is that? I know not everyone's gonna like this, but I absolutely love it. It's very me. But how much did this cost? I actually don't think it cost a lot of money. So this cost me £16.49, and I think it was worth every single penny of it. I really do. I think if you had an older doll, it would obviously save you a bit of money, and I saved some money by using old paint, but just completely worth it. I would pay double the price for it. That's how good it is. Okay, so I thought I would try and give the map moth framed things a shot. See if I can do it. So I've got a frame here. I also bought a book with like map pictures.
Oh dear.
Inside of it. I'm assuming the original creator used some old maps from somewhere, but I couldn't find any. But I thought this book was quite cute, and there's lots of different kinds of patterns and stuff, and they're double-sided, so that's fantastic. And we'll see if I can make some sort of moth with this. Just like with textile things, I'm not very good with like paper things, even though I have tried origami, and I really enjoyed it, and I thought I was quite good with it. I don't know, I'm not very good at paper crafts. Just cut a bit of this off. I'm going to need the body first. So I need to think about how it's going to fit in the frame. This is going to be tiny. It's going to be so small. No, I think that'll be an alright size actually. And then, oh, I'll use that side. That's nicer. Then we'll roll this up, and this is going to be the body of my moth. I'm going to get a bit of sellotape. Where's the end? Oh, here it is. The thing is, why were humans born, or like evolved, or were created with only 2 arms? It would be really, really nice in the future if we could evolve multiple arms, just to help us out a bit. It would make my life so much easier. That's taped on, that's secure I think. And then I just kind of want to crush these bottom bits so it doesn't look so like papery. I'm thinking I need some sort of head. How am I going to make a head? Try and make a smaller one. And I want to remind everyone I do this all without instructions, so that's why I struggle so much. Just in case anyone's like thinking like, meh, it's so easy, just do this. And it's like, no, I don't have any instructions. I don't know what I'm doing. Because it must be that time of year again where people are like commenting on my videos, on like some videos and stuff. Of like a video I'll do on like a kid's toy review, and the kid's toy will be shit. It'll be completely shit. And some people will just get so butthurt about it. And I don't understand why. It's not like they invented the toy. I just don't understand why people on the internet get so really irate over the most pointless shit. Like, there's so many more things to be kind of concerned about and upset about than if someone doesn't like a kid's toy. And also, if someone creates like a review of something, that is someone's opinion. It doesn't mean it's fact. Someone else can have a different opinion. It doesn't mean that's the only thing anyone can think of with this kind of kid's toy or anything else for that matter. Like, I always try to say when I'm reviewing something or I'm making something or whatever, that I personally either like it or dislike it, but it doesn't mean that other people won't dislike it or like it. Because we're all different. We're all different. We all have different feelings and thoughts on things. Just people get so like just pissy with stuff. I'm just like, oh, get a life. Sorry, just having a little bit of a moan.
The shock. The horror.
I know it's not like me at all to have a moan, but just fancied it. That kind of looks like a head. I need to attach it to there. I also don't think it helps that I'm like really tired at the moment. I don't know why, but I feel like I go through stages of having like really vivid dreams. And at the moment, not even just like every other night or like once a week or something, like literally every night I'm having very vivid, very intense dreams / nightmares. Like I had this one, not last night, I think the night before, where I got kidnapped and then I managed to get away from the people who kidnapped us, but then they murdered my entire family, and they just feel very, very intense. I wake up and I feel absolutely shattered. And I think because I'm having such intense dreams as well, I must be clenching a lot more during the night, because I managed somehow to bite all the way through my plastic retainer that I have that protects my teeth from like clenching down. I managed to bite all the way through it, split it completely in half. That's how intense my like kind of jaw clenching was happening the other night. So I did have to buy a new retainer, and I've got that one, and hopefully I don't bite through that one as well. Okay, so I've got a moth. There's a lot of tape shown on this. I'm just gonna say that straight away, but never mind. I also need some like little antennas. I'll just cut little thin strips of the paper off. Oh, this is so fiddly. I'm getting really irritated. And I've still got that miniature thing to do next. Well, I've got the body, the head, and the antennas, and now I think I just need to make the wings. That kind of works. Is that a bit? It's still a bit too big. I'll cut down a little bit more. And then I think I'm going to get the hot glue for this, because I am not pissing around with tape anymore. Let's do my head in. Okay, and then just hot glue the wings onto the body of this. Kind of like that. Right, now I need to put it in this frame and hope it looks better in the frame. Okay, so we have expectation and reality. Ignore this little patch. I've just spilt Coke on myself.
You dirty slut.
So there it is, and it does not look as nice as theirs. And if you have OCD, I'm really sorry, but I've stuck that completely off center. You'll be screaming at us. But mine it just doesn't look as nice. It looks fine, it looks okay, but it's nowhere near as good as the original. Theirs looks absolutely amazing, and mine looks like a child's done it. But this little thing cost me about £6 to make, which I don't think is too bad, I suppose, but I'm not I'm not loving it. I'm not loving it at all. In fact, I don't like it. I really don't like it. Okay, and for some reason, I've saved the worst one for last, and I'm going to attempt to make the little miniature scene on a paintbrush. So obviously to start with this, I got an old paintbrush from the studio and just painted this paintbrush in different kinds of colours to create a almost beach seaside looking scene, and then just left that to dry. And I've got my paintbrush here and it looks absolutely fine. It's fully painted and now I need to decorate it, and I've had issues with this. So the first set of decorations I bought didn't arrive and Amazon ended up refunding us, so I had to buy a second lot of decorations, and the second lot of decorations have arrived, and I'm just going to show you what they look like. So this is them here. This is miniature beach scene decorations. Now, do we think this little miniature, like little beach chair, is going to fit onto this paintbrush? Absolutely not. And like even the trees, the tree is basically the size of the paintbrush, and I'm sure they looked smaller in the picture, so I'm really irritated. There are a few things in here that I think I might be able to get away with. Like this is what I don't understand. In this pack, a lighthouse came, and this is how big the lighthouse is. Why is the tree that scale compared to the lighthouse? It doesn't make sense. And why is the deck chair that big compared to the tree in the lighthouse? It doesn't make sense. Like even the turtle's bigger than the lighthouse. Why? Why? So I'm just gonna have to try and come up with something. But I did find a pack of little tiny people, which was a separate order from a different person. And look at that.
What is it?
Look how small it is. It is so tiny. And I've got loads of them. I've got loads of little tiny people. They're not really beach scene people, but I'm just gonna have to make it work.
That's the fabric.
And see if I can kind of just do something with this. I'm just gonna have to try and rescue it. I've got some super glue here, and we'll just glue it all together. You can just be admiring the view right next to the little tiny lighthouse that's almost the same size as you. I'm literally just looking at the original, and it's like, why did I even bother? Okay, I think I might be done with that. Do we have expectations? And reality. Here's my version.
Oh dear.
This isn't my fault though. I can't be to blame for this. It's not my fault. It's because of what I bought and the chew on I had. It's definitely seaside themed. There's some people there on the top of the paintbrush. It's very...
Shitter.
It's just not to scale, and it's a little bit chaotic. It's not as nice as the original at all. I've done a terrible job. And I think this cost me a lot of money as well, which is even worse. So in total, I actually bought over £20 worth of materials to make this, but I didn't use £20 worth. I probably used like less than £1 worth, so that's how much it cost us. But I just ruined a perfectly fine paintbrush. I tried my best, and I was destined to fail because of the issues I had with the stuff that I bought. I'm taking no blame. I'm taking no responsibility for this. So that just about does it for today's episode of the Blind Pinterest Challenge. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And I've definitely had better episodes. I don't think this one was a particularly successful one. The only good thing that came out of this episode was my baby doll head thing. That's the only thing I liked from this. I didn't mind the flowers, but the paper moth and the paintbrush was just absolutely dreadful. But feel free to let me know down in the comments which craft you preferred. And I also wanted to say a big thank you to Debbie Standen and Geocatcher for becoming exclusive VIOs, you very important oranges you. If you want to become a very important orange yourself, then there's a little join button down below if you fancied it. And I'll see you next week for a brand new video, and I will not be doing any more miniatures for a while, for a long time. I don't think I'm going to be doing any miniatures for a while. I feel like everything in this video was like bitty. That's how I would describe it, like bitty and fiddly and like irritating. I feel irritated. I feel very tense. I need a glass of wine. That's what I need. I'm going to go away and just like chug a bottle of wine.